My name is Prudencio, Prudencio. My mother's name is Burgos, Burgos. But my family name is Regis, Regis.
Thank you, sir. And what is your birthday? When were you born?
I was born in Sugod, Southern Leyte.
So what is your birthday, sir?
October 23,
And?
1925.
25.
25.
So now you are 94-year-old?
94-year-old.
You look amazing. Wow. So tell me about when you were growing up, when you were a child, what your father did, your mom, and your brothers and sisters.
My father and my father was he wanted to be one who is playing all the time. He goes to the farm once a week or twice a week, and I go with him. But otherwise, he comes home and he is a father to me, not some worker.
Yeah. And what about your brothers and sisters? How many brothers and how many sisters did you have?
The brothers and sisters I have 4 brothers and three sisters, or 7 in all.
Mm-hmm.
The 4 brothers were most of them were with the old family, the old mother, her wife, his wife, and the what they call this orphans maybe.
Okay. So tell me about the school you went through, middle school and high school. Where did you go?
I started as the first grade, 1 to 7. Started 1 to 4, then 5 to 7.
And when did you graduate your high school?
I became in high school at when I graduated at primary, that was in 17. And then I was, what do you call this? I was sent to high school.
So did you graduate high school in 1923? No.
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 In high school, I was 17.
17?
To 21.
So it was of 1942?
Yes.
And did you experience Japanese invasion here in Philippines?
As an invasion, we were hearing it, but there is not that much,
Not much.
Not much. We were more afraid than.
And when did you join the military then?
When I finished my high school.
Yes.
I was sent to. I entered the Philippine Military Academy. So that was when I entered high school. Rather military.
Was it military academy or military school?
No, I passed by the examination.
Examination? Yeah.
Examination for so many really beers, but only 62 of us passed the examination, and only 62 of us were admitted in the first year.
So was it Army Academy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when did you graduate the Army Academy? Do you remember?
I graduated in 1951.
51?
Oh.
You graduate from
the military.
But when did you go to Korea?
I was sent to Korea in 1925.
1950?
1925.
55.
25. Because
No, Korean War broke out in 1950. So 1950.
yes,
Korean War started in 1950.
I was not yet there.
So when did you go to Korea?
We were sent as a whole battalion to Korea by the United States Army.
Yeah.
And we were sent there in 1924. So I graduated 51.
51.
Yeah.
So you were in Korea 1951.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I graduated 1951.
And then you went to Korea right away.
Not yet. I was still serving in the military. And then the Korean army asked to send me at a troop to Korea to help in the Korean War. And they sent me there in 1920, 2 years after graduation. Then we stayed there. We went to Korea and stayed there for 3 months. We were playing in the, but they were practicing their military in the military zone, but no war yet, just information.
So
But
exactly when did you arrive in Korea?
about 1920,
No, not 20. It's got to be 1950 something.
1950, 54.
54. So that was after the war.
After the war.
Okay. And where did you arrive in Korea? Was it Busan or Incheon? Where did you arrive in Korea?
We arrived in the main Korean battlefield.
Was it in Busan?
Under the Americans, here under Busan.
Busan. So, did you know anything about Korea before you went to Korea?
Well, a little yes, because we were very in the military. We were still in the military in high school. We were taught everything from beginning to end.
So, did you know where Korea was in the map?
At that time, not yet.
Not yet.
I just knew that it was supposed to be in South Korea.
Yeah. So, tell me about this. The first image of Korea, how was it to you? How Korean people living there? How was the city? How much it was destroyed? How about Korean children in the street? How was it? Just tell me the details.
They were very friendly, and they were very friendly, and most of the time wanted to play with us. But before that time, while we were practicing our military in the plains,
Yeah.
we were also fighting against the Chinese. The Chinese occupied that Korean mall ngayon, that is called the Korean. It is in Busan itself.
Busan?
Busan.
No, Chinese were not in Busan.
No, it was in the Korean itself, where the mall where the Koreans were no, but the Koreans were fighting against the Chinese were fighting against the Koreans.
Yep.
And the Koreans asked for help. At that time, the Chinese
Yes.
Southern China. So we helped. We were asked to help to drive or to stop them and drive them. Where they were able to drive them out until when they were out, they asked for more help from the other troops, and they were able to drive the Koreans further south, very
Yes.
far south, until that time when we were at the end of the south, when we had to the war said, stop making the war, let them go back there. We will find out first what they want to do. So they started fighting back. And at that time, there was no war very much with them. And it came to a time when the Koreans and the Filipinos who were there put up a fighting one to represent Korea and to represent Korea, and that was the war between the two. But somehow it was stopped because when after 6 rounds in the boxing, when the Korean asked for a timeout, when the Filipino was going to his seat, trying to get a seat, he was hit by the Korean in the nose.
Oh.
Without turning his head. He was hit from behind. But luckily, until now, the nose is still good. So that was that.
So at the time, what was your rank?
My rank was then a lieutenant.
Lieutenant. Yeah. And second lieutenant or first lieutenant?
First lieutenant. Because when we arrived in Korea, when we left the Philippines, we will graduate, new graduates, we were still second Koreans. But when we arrived in Korea, the Philippines made us advantage, raised us to first Korea, one Korea.
And you belong to 19th BCT, right?
Yes.
Yes. Have you been back to Korea? Does Korean government invite you back to Korea?
Yes.
When?
Oh, I cannot remember exactly when, but it was about 10 or 20 years. 10
Ago?
years, maybe 10.
10 years ago?
We were invited. I was already in the Philippines. I was a member of the Korean team. They called me back about 10 days. We asked them
Okay.
back.
And when you went back to Korea, how Korea was changed? Tell me about it.
Korea did not change. The change was they were fighting already because they had already their hope troops of the Chinese also. And we were fighting. We were continued fighting up to northern Korea, up to the boundary, old-based boundary there. And when the troops decided to stop fighting.
What I'm asking you is, when were you back to Korea invited by the Korean government? Did you go to revisit program to look at the modern Korea?
Really?
Did you go back to Korea?
No.
You never back to Korea?
We will go back. We were fighting the Chinese this way, driving them back to their, but they were also driven back. It seems there was a truce between the Chinese and the Koreans, and the Chinese troops and the South Chinese troops.
Sir, ang tinatanong pa ni Sir is, nung pagbalik nyo nung June sa Korea, nung last June nung tayo magkakasama, paano nyo ngayon ilalarawan yung bagong Korea after the war? Yung Korea ngayon?
Wala. All they did was to serve as fighting unit, supporting the Southern Koreans.
Yeah. So, paano nyo po nung pagpunta nyo ng June, nung pumunta tayo, nung revisit, the revisit program, so, paano nyo po ngayon pinipicture nung makita nyo yung Korea ulit nung last June, so ano po yung naramdaman nyo at paano na po siya, ano po ang nakita nyo?
We were fighting back the Koreans because we had also the troops from the Chinese. Oh yes. Then when they were going up, they were shooting the Chinese upstairs because they were climbing up to the top until the Chinese reached the top. When it started also doing that, the Japan and the Korea, our troops had to go back because they were being driven like that.
Do you have any message to the Korean people for next year, which is 70th anniversary of the breakout of the Korean War? Do you have any message to the Korean people?
Do I have a
message?
Meron daw po ba kayong message sa Korean people dahil next year, 70th anniversary ng Korean War? Meron ba kayong message sa mga Korean people?
I do not have a message, but they continued fighting. Sa kwan lang, itong line, the line of ano.
Okay.
But I don't think they were happy enough. They had the truth.
So when did you become general?
When I became general, when these Koreans were given more troops, from the Philippines, Koreans were given more troops and then transferred to another place where there were more soldiers of our own. And they were given more also because I was already about 3 or 4 years now serving as a good commander.
Okay. So we are doing this because Korean War is very important in the world history in the 20th century. But we don't teach much about it. And it's becoming a forgotten war. And also in the Philippines, they talk very little about the Korean War. So that's why we are doing this. And I really appreciate your willingness to do interview with me, okay? So thank you so much again, sir.
We'll be very much interested to go with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.